In this video, I will tell you the most recent spoilers about the light novel of Tate no Yuusha. The light novel is still being published, however, the web novel finished its publication already. For the people who don't know about these terms, the web novel is the first manuscript from the author, like a draft. For this reason, the web novel doesn't have illustrations, so I will use the light novel illustrations as a reference. The web novel continues the plot from the anime this way. There is an entire story arc about Naofumi defeating a turtle. By the way, this fight happens after the first season. Well, after this occurs, there will be many more arcs with fights. I will skip these many fights that happen, and I will simply tell Mine's plot, because she ends up being the antagonist of all the series. At some point, she forms a rebellion against her mother's kingdom, but Raphtalia defeats her. This time she gets death as a punishment, being raped by a king with a pig form. Nevertheless, in the next story arc, she is revived by the whip hero using alchemy. The queen gets slaughtered, and Naofumi loses his power for some time. This happens because the whip hero was able to steal other powers from heroes. Then many fights take place, and finally, Naofumi's team kill the whip hero. Also, Mine ends up being burned, because in this way she wouldn't be able to revive. Time passes and a new wave controlled by a goddess occurs. Naofumi realizes that the goddess had the same eyes as Mine, and he wasn't wrong, because Mine was part of this goddess soul. She divided her soul into many parts, and every part of her soul was sent to a different world, so she could destroy all worlds. Continuing with Naofumi's battle, he is defeated along with the rest of the heroes. Naofumi is erased from all timelines by the goddess, but Naofumi survives because he has the plot armor. Then he wakes up after being defeated, and he realizes that he was in a library, specifically in the same library where he found the book that transported him to the isekai world. Naofumi sees his arm and realizes that now the shield was a leather bracelet. Then he found the book and examines it. It was written on the last page of the book that the shield hero was defeated at that moment, but then he hears Raphtalia's voice. She was in front of him, and so the web novel ends here. This is something interesting because this finale was the first one written by the author. But because of the complaints from the fans, the author had to redo the ending, specifically continue where the first ending left off, and so the story continues with Naofumi and Raphtalia on Earth. They lived a normal life because everyone saw Raphtalia as a human. Another important point is that Raphtalia was shown as Naofumi's girlfriend to his family, so she lived even more normally. Raphtalia and Naofumi looked for different ways to fight against the goddess, because they didn't want to let their isekai world in her hands. They were looking for many days without any positive result. Naofumi, tired of this, makes a proposal to Raphtalia to forget everything and live happily together on Earth. Before continuing with the video, if you like this type of content and want to see more videos of other series, please leave your like and comment below. Also follow me on my social media account. In this way, I will know that you support this content. Don't forget to subscribe, since only 9% of people who watch these videos are subscribed. Now, continuing with the light novel, Raphtalia didn't want to forget her home world, because Earth was not her home. It wasn't right for her to forget everything. While both had this conversation, Atlas' spirit appeared. First, I will explain who this character was. She was a slave that Naofumi rescued in the isekai world. When she died, she stayed in Naofumi's shield. Atlas tells Naofumi that they were able to avoid death thanks to a medicine that all heroes used before fighting the goddess. This medicine was found by Naofumi in Fatoria's castle. After this explanation, Naofumi agrees with Raphtalia to return to the isekai world to save it. They decided to sacrifice their all. After this, Atlas opens a gate that supposedly would transport them to the isekai world. Then Naofumi and Raphtalia get in. But once inside, both of them are separated. Naofumi was transported into a void where there are many stars in the void, and he found an individual that was the God Slayer. Naofumi explained his situation to the God Slayer. In the beginning, Naofumi complained that the God Slayer was able to defeat Mine, but then he explained to Naofumi that there are an infinite number of worlds with many gods like Mine. Then he tells Naofumi to look at the sky and explains that this is the multiverse, because every star was actually a different universe. Naofumi asks the God Killer, how come that evil gods do exist? And he tells Naofumi that whenever a world is developed enough in tech and magic, some individuals arise wanting to control everything. These individuals take over their world and steal their energy inside it. All these individuals became evil gods because they destroy their own world, stealing its energy. Naofumi asked the God Slayer to kill Mine because she destroyed Raphtalia's world, but the God Slayer refuses, because if he fights against Mine, he would end up destroying the world with his power. However, The God Slayer tells Naofumi that he can train him enough to not destroy the isekai world and defeat mine. Naofumi trains for a long time and at some point, he was ready to fight her. Naofumi returned to the isekai world and he was transported to Fatoria's castle. There he reunites with Raphtalia. She tells Naofumi that she was training with the God Slayer as well, and now she had the powers of a goddess. Then, the God Slayer tells them that he stopped time during their training, so that the fight against mine didn't end yet, and many battles occurred. In the end, Raphtalia and Naofumi win the battle, and here starts the ending of the web novel. After the fight, Raphtalia and Naofumi divide their souls as mine did in the past. They did this because they wanted to kill more evil gods with their original bodies. But also they wanted to get married and have kids. For this reason they leave 2 copies of them in Earth. Their Naofumi became a successful businessman. They also leave 2 copies in the isekai world. There they had kids and get married as well. Many thousands of years pass and Naofumi returns along with Raphtalia to the isekai world. They were killing many gods in different worlds until they wanted to return for a visit. Their soul copies in this world died a long time ago, but Naofumi found a book that told what his copy did during his life. The book said that he created a city, and he had many children with mostly all the female characters in the series. While Naofumi was reading, Philo appeared, and she explains that she didn't die because she had Fatoria's immortality. Philo asks them to let her join their journey to kill evil gods, and so the web novel ends. Now, I'll leave the video here. I hope that you liked it. Remember to share it and subscribe. If you want me to make more videos of Tate no Yuusha, I'll leave you a goal of 5,000 likes. Also comment that you want to see more videos. This way I will see that you are very interested, and I will do the videos as soon as possible.